today is more like a show and tell. It's not going to be formal at all. We don't have a lot of attendees, so I want you to feel free to ask questions when you need to. This training is for the creation of the professional services pay request, and it's specific to our agency and higher education users. So if you're working in a project in one of our agency projects or one of our higher education projects, this training is for you. If you work in the school district project, it will probably be more confusing for you than helpful. We will be providing the K-12 training, however, next week. But again, this is just our agency higher ed. And I won't even really call it a training. I'll call it a show and tell, because I want you to feel like you can ask questions, and we can kind of move around the system if necessary, whatever you all want to do. And my name is Shauna Hooks, and I am the IT Operations Support Manager, and I see a lot of familiar names out there, so it's awesome that you're a part of this training today. This presentation is being recorded and will be posted to our website along with all of our other job aids and training material. So after this presentation, it will be posted, and I will show you where all of our training material is posted currently if you're not familiar. If you could please, if you could keep your microphones muted and your cameras off until we begin taking questions. But again, if you have any questions during the presentation or during my show and tell, please feel free to raise your hand or just throw something in the chat. So again, we're talking specifically today about the creation of the professional services pay request in that new view that you're all experiencing. So we'll talk about entering the required information and pulling in your SOV and checking your commits remaining balances, possible errors you may experience, and attaching documents to that pay request. So the purpose and the procedure, this pay request does provide for your submission and the review and approval of all of your pay requests during the interim and the final payment request.
Shauna, there's somebody put a note in the side that said that they can't hear anything. I didn't know if you saw that.
Oh, thank you, Stacy. Let's see.
It was an MS. I don't know if they got it fixed or not, but.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Sorry.
Mary. Oh, goodness. So she can't hear me.
Shauna, I'll type a message to her and try to get her sorted out.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much. And this references and relates directly to your contract schedule of values, which is associated with your professional services agreement. So the first thing you're going to do is log in to OAKS, and you're going to see your list of projects at the top of your screen. If you don't have any previous projects that you were looking in, you're going to click on that plus sign, and that plus sign could be anywhere up here, but you're looking for that plus sign. And when you click on that plus sign, you're going to get a search bar, and you'll simply type the name of the project or the project number. Once you start typing the name of the project, you're going to get a list of all of the projects with similar names that you're currently associated with. You're going to go ahead and double click on that appropriate project. Once you double click on that project, it's your project homepage. And within your project homepage, on the left-hand side of your screen, you're going to see an option that says logs. And when you click on logs, you're going to see all of the business processes that you currently have access to. And those that access is based on the permission, the role that you currently hold in the system. So you're going to scroll down until you find the professional services pay request, and you'll click the Create button. Once you click that Create button, you're going to get a form similar to this. And you want to fill in all of that pertinent information in the form. So you can see I've kind of scrolled a little bit down the form. I've plugged in my title. And one important thing you want to remember about that title is you really want to number it. So if this is pay request 1, you want to make sure you put in there PR1. If it's pay request 5, you want to put in there PR5, somewhere in that title. So it'll make it easier to find later on when you're sort of just, wanting to get an audit trail of the work that you've done. The next thing you want to do is pull your contract reference into the pay request. So how you're going to do that is you're now going to see in that contract reference block a little select area. And when you click on select, you're going to, I'm sorry, I'm reading this. Okay, so someone's getting feedback and static. Stacey, do you hear feedback and static? Matt, do you hear feedback?
On my end, it sounds pretty clear. So I know occasionally with the audio issues, depending on the connection, things can get behind or a little bit sounding a little bit garbled, but I believe it should sound fine if nobody else has any issues. If anybody else does have any issues, please let us know in the chat and I'll message you directly.
Okay, thank you, Matt. So the next thing you're going to do is click that select option under contract reference. And when you click that, you're going to pull up your professional services agreement, and you actually should only see one. So I'm working in the training site. That's the reason why you'll see a lot of them associated with me. But for you, you should only see one agreement available to you. And you can simply highlight your agreement and click select, and that's going to populate your agreement into this area. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to scroll down a little bit more and you're going to plug in those period from and period to dates. And again, you'll just click that calendar to the right of that period from and select your start and your end date for that pay period. Then you're going to scroll a little bit further down the page and you're going to get to that payment requested information. And it's just going to ask you a couple of questions. The first one is this the final payment? So you're going to click that arrow down, and if it is, you'll select yes. If it's not, you'll select no. And this is really important because based on what information you plug in here is the workflow that this pay request is going to follow. So you want to make sure that you make the proper selection here. Next thing you're going to do is plug in your dollar amount. So how much do you want to get paid this period? The next thing you're going to do is you're going to come down and you'll see something that says invoices for reimbursables, expenses attached. So if you're attaching any additional documentation, you want to go ahead and say yes. If not, then you'll just say no. Now we're ready to go on. The next thing you want to do, and this is something that I really try to remind everyone of, is take a look at your current contract schedule of value. You want to see what your current commits remaining balances are. The problem is that the system will not provide an error to you if you attempt to overbill on a line. So if you attempt to bill against a line and you're overbilling, the system won't tell you that. And we won't find that out until later on in the process. And then the record's going to have to get returned back to you in order for you to make those corrections. So in order to avoid all that, what you can do is come up to the upper right-hand corner of your record where you see this little hamburger and click that arrow down and then click SOV. And when you click SOV, you're going to pull up this secondary screen. Now, you may not see this whole screen when you pull it up, so you may have to scroll over and see the commits remaining balance, but this is what you're looking for. You want to find out how much money you currently have remaining on each line item you have on your agreement. So if you're unable to see it when you first pull it up, you have the ability to split your screen. So you've clicked SOV, it's popped up this secondary screen for you. You can simply click split, as we've done here, and then you can start scrolling across on the right-hand side of your screen until you get to that commits remaining balance area, and that's what we're looking for. If you don't want to do that, you also have the ability to export the spreadsheet. So this is just exporting the SOV that we're looking at here. So instead of looking at the information in the body of the secondary screen, you can just click that export button. it's going to pop up an Excel spreadsheet for you. And again, you're just looking for that commits remaining balance associated with each line item that you have. Once you've checked your commits remaining balance, you're now ready to start adding lines for payment. So the next thing you're going to do is, we were just in that general tab, we're going to come over to the pay request details tab, and we're going to click that add button. And when we click that add button, what you may remember from the old system is you got this secondary screen that popped up for you. And it's a little bit different now. When you click that add button, you're actually going to get a little third tier screen to the right. And when that pulls up for you, what you're going to do is you're going to click that select button under the WBS code, and that's going to give you all of your line items currently available to you from your agreement. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to select the line that you want to be paid for. So you'll double click it, it's going to populate in here for you, and then you're going to come down to the short description. And in here, you're just going to provide a short description for the work that you've done so far. Then you're going to come down and you're going to plug in your dollar amount for the work that's been done so far. Now, if you have additional lines that you want to add, it's really important that you don't click save, that you click save and add new. When you click save and add new, this information here will wipe out and it'll allow you to add additional lines. If you simply click save and start typing in here again, you're going to overwrite what you previously added. So just a reminder that if you want to add several line items, you want to continue to click save and add new until you're completely done, and then click save. Once you've added all of your lines, what you'll see is all of your line items sitting there, and you'll see the total amount of your request. So the next thing we want to do is, once we've seen the total amount of our request and the pay request details, we now want to come back over to that general tab just to verify that we've got everything in there the way we want to see it. So in my example here, you can see I've gone back to my general tab, I've scrolled all the way down to my payment requested area, and I can see that I said that I'm requesting $25,000 worth of payment. I've added $25,000 worth in line items, and the difference is 0. And that's what I want to see. Now, if for some reason I go in there and I think I'm good and I click that send button, if my dollar amounts are off, it's actually going to give me an error message. And it's going to be pretty specific. Your difference in your pay requested and your line items, they don't match up. So what you're going to do is you're going to come back here, and I can see that in my amount, I actually requested $10,000. I have a line item total of $25,000, and I have a difference of $15,000. My amounts. And if you do, you can just raise your hand or throw something in the chat for me. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is attach all of our supporting documentation. So we do have a training walkthrough of Document Manager on how to upload documents into Document Manager. Do we have anyone here, and you can just raise your hand if you would like to go through the process of uploading documents in Document Manager? Yeah, and it looks like Mary Lou, you have a question. Can the SOB be printed out prior to creating the pay request? It definitely can. And so in that previous screenshot that I showed you, when you click that SOB button, and I can go back up there. And on slide, let me start from on slide 11, I told you to click that arrow down next to the hamburger. If you click that SOB button, and then you click the export button, it'll give you the Excel spreadsheet. Okay, does anybody want to look at Document Manager? If not, then I'll just keep going. All right, awesome. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to attach documents to my pay request. So the next thing I'm going to do is underneath attachments, I'm going to click that arrow down next to the paperclip, and I'm going to go to Document Manager. I'm going to click on that. That's going to bring up a secondary screen for me with all of my document management folders that I have available to me. I want to go to the folder that I previously uploaded into. I'm going to double click on it, and then I'm going to find the document that I want to attach. Once I find that document, I'm going to highlight it, and I'm going to click Select. I have now attached my document to my pay request, and I can see it over here under Attachments. It's attached to the pay request. Now, if I want to add some comments to the pay request, I'm going to do that now also. So I can click that Comments tab next to the Attachments tab. I can then go in and type in whatever comments I want to add. And I want to make sure that this Hide button is not checked. So this should be unchecked when I add my comments. The next thing I'm going to do is click Post, and I now have my comments attached to my record. So I've attached all my supporting documentation. I've attached all of my line items. And next thing I'm going to do is click that Send button. So I'm going to click Send. It's going to take me to a secondary screen. My Submit workflow action should actually already be populated in here, but if not, you're going to go in here and you're going to select the Submit button. You can then see who it's going to, and you can carbon copy other users. Now, the cool thing about the upgrade is you can actually start typing users' names to find them quickly, or you can simply click this Select button to see all the users that you have the ability to carbon copy. Once you've pulled those in, you're going to click that Send button, and it's now moving forward to the next step in the workflow. So I want to show you where you can find the training documents that we actually have available to you. So let me pull that up for you. Okay, so I've gone to the ofcc.ohio.gov webpage. I'm going to go to OAKS, and I'm going to come down to Agency Higher Ed Training. And you'll find a list of all of the trainings that we've got available to you. So you can see the previous training that we provided, the overview of OAKS upgrade that we provided, I believe, on Tuesday. That live training is posted here in conjunction with the introduction to OAKS. And you'll also be able to find today's training located here as well. So it's going to be under user specific, under the Create Professional Services Pay Request. It'll also be located under OAKS News. So if you're looking for the most recent stuff, these recordings that we're doing, if you click on OAKS News, you'll also find them there as well. Do I have any questions about today's presentation? Okay. Well, that is all I had for you. Again, it's pretty much just a show and tell, but I wanted to make sure that we walk through the creation process. We will be following this up with a lot more trainings weekly, so stay tuned. You'll be receiving emails, and all of these trainings will be posted to this website along with the PowerPoint presentations. Thanks so much for everyone joining today. Please let me know if I can do anything else for you, and have a great day.